What happens when Edward Cullen mysterious, intense, annoyingly perfect refuses to define the relationship and Bella actually goes along with it? Welcome to a twilight universe where Bella and Edward are stuck in the world's most dramatic situationship. Trust me, this is where the chaos begins. I look around the room, taking in the sights and sounds. Pretty people wearing pretty clothes. Cocktails now. Dancing to begin soon. Holiday music and chatter providing background noise. I see him standing across the room. I'm ashamed that after all that's happened, my eyes, my body are still drawn to him in a way I can't explain, can't deny, can't stop. Why did I come here? What am I trying to prove? So, point out this Cullen guy, he whispers in my ear. He's over near the stage, hot, tall, messy hair, I whisper back. With the gorgeous blonde. Yes, Jasper. Thanks for pointing that out, I remark humorlessly. He puts an arm around me and squeezes me in to his side for a moment before letting go. Come on, baby swan. I meant standing with the gorgeous blonde, he clarifies gently. Jasper has called me baby swan almost as long as we've known each other. I don't remember how it even started. I met him during college, so there's a good chance one or both of us were impaired when he came up with it, but, for whatever reason, it's stuck for the last 7 years. He rarely calls me Bella outside of the office, it's almost always baby swan. Yes, that's him. And the blonde, that's Rosalie Hale, Mr. Hale's only daughter. He's been trying to push her and Edward together since they were kids, according to Edward. Looks like he finally got his wish, I say flatly. Rosalie has her arm wound through Edward's and he's bent down talking to her as he pats the hand she's resting in the crook of his elbow. I remember how hanging on to Edward's arm feels, like you're protected, treasured. I remember how fucking good he smells when he leans down to talk to you like you're the only person in his universe. I remember what an asshole he can be. All right, let's get started on this mission, Jasper says, interrupting my indulgent, bittersweet reminiscence. What mission, Jasper? There's no mission. You're just my arm candy for the evening, I joke, smiling up at him and taking a sip of my wine. Baby swan, this is the best time to make old Eddie regret what he's missing. He says, leaning close again and smiling. You look stunning, I look stunning. Chances are he'll be jealous of one of us. He's looking over this way right now, as a matter of fact. So smile that pretty smile up at me again, sugar. And let me tell you how pleased I am that you asked me to escort you this evening instead of my Neanderthal business partner. I laugh out loud and look up at Jasper. Thank goodness we're completely comfortable physically around each other. Well, not that comfortable. We never went all the way, but we did round a couple of bases one drunken night during college. And he's right about one thing. He is stunning. He has a head full of tousled blonde curls and the brightest blue eyes. Texas skies, his mama calls that color. Tonight, he's wearing a black suit and a gray tie. We're coordinated. My strapless dress is gunmetal gray, with some beading around the top. Even I know this dress hugs my body in all the right places, all the places that used to drive Edward mad. Well, darlin', I say, imitating Jasper's Texas drawl, Edward knows Emmett because he has accompanied me to some of the meetings with the good old boys at Hale Software. And Edward knows that Emmett and I are friends, nothing more. Edward and I have barely even talked about you, except for me to say how close we are. So you, honey pie, are basically mysterious fresh meat to the eyes of everyone around here. Impressive accent, sugar. Has my mama been giving you those learn to talk Texan in 10 phone calls lessons again? He asks, lowering his head to whisper in my ear. Jasper is very good at making us look like a couple. We've pretended to be a couple before for various social occasions, and various exes. I refuse to answer on the grounds I may incriminate both myself and your mama. But someone did tell me recently that nothing dries as quick as a tear, and if Edward doesn't come around, then he's about as sharp as a sack full of wet mice. I laugh. Jasper laughs with me. Lord, she's still trying to get you in the family, isn't she? Yup. especially since we were there Thanksgiving. You know what's scary? I've actually started using some of the quirky little expressions she's been teaching me. I don't even realize it until the words are out of my mouth, I say with astonishment. No, she's got you now, baby swan. She'll sick Big Daddy on you next, he says, smiling and playing with the charm bracelet on my left wrist. I probably shouldn't have worn it. She already has. Puts him on the phone every damn time she calls me. And Big Daddy says I'm the daughter you were supposed to be, I say, dissolving into giggles and leaning into him again. Jasper is the youngest of 5 boys and is the baby Big Daddy felt sure would be a Texas princess. He has decided that I should marry Jasper and fulfill that role, even though both Jasper and I have told him that we are just friends. Uh-oh, here comes Cullen and he's detached himself from the blonde. Would you like me to stay or go? He asks, serious, leaning his face close to mine again. Stay, please. I'll introduce you, I answer quietly. He puts his arm back around my waist. I put on the smile I've been practicing in front of the mirror for days. Bella, happy holidays. It's nice to see you. I wasn't aware you'd be here this evening, Edward says in his smoother than velvet voice as he approaches us. Hello, Edward. Happy holidays to you as well. Mr. Hale invited me when I met with him a few weeks ago. I'd like you to meet Jasper Whitlock. Jas, this is Edward Cullen, the executive vice president of Hale Software. I say sweetly. To his credit, Jasper looks at me intently and pulls me more tightly to his side before handing me his drink so he can shake Edward's hand. To an outsider, it would look like Jasper was captivated by my every word. Jasper Whitlock. You're the Jasper Whitlock. As in McCarty and Whitlock? Edward asks, confused, as they shake hands. His eyes shoot to my face. He knew that Jasper is one of my closest friends, but not that he is technically my boss. Edward is not pleased. Yes, sir. Emmett and I own the advertising firm and, thank the good Lord, we're smart enough to hire Baby Swan here when we first started out. She's my good luck charm. And we always have had fun together, Jasper drawls, smiling first at Edward then at me. I smile back and hand him his drink, which he takes after letting his fingers linger over mine a little longer than necessary. I put my arm around Jasper's waist, accidentally gripping so hard that he jumps a little. I loosen my grip slightly and rub over the spot where I hurt him. Edward nods. I saw you laughing as I was walking over. I'm glad you're enjoying yourselves, he says, not at all looking glad about anything. His voice sounds cordial, but the acerbic undertone is hard to miss. His smile is bitter but still beautiful. Yes, we were discussing how my mama likes to call Bella every week to teach her funny Texas colloquialisms. Planning to turn her into a Whitlock. Right, darlin', Jasper says, laughing lightly and looking adoringly at me again. I bet I thought you were just friends, Edward stammers. Ha, this caught him off guard. Good, I know it's petty, but I do hope it bothers him to see me think of me with someone else. I shrug and smile. Things changed, Edward, I state simply. Damn lucky for me, Jasper says quietly, but loudly enough that Edward hears. I smile at him before turning back to Edward. Edward, how have you been? I saw you and Rosalie earlier. She looks well, I say politely, hating that we are reduced to these pleasantries after everything we've said to each other in the past. I'm fine. Rose is fine. Bella, I really need to speak with you privately, he says. His earnest green eyes boring into my brown ones, pleading with me. Oh, Edward, let's not discuss business tonight, I say lightly, pretty proud of myself for keeping my composure. But I am still clinging to Jasper like he's my flotation device in this stormy sea of fucked upness I'm drowning in. Unseen by Edward, Rosalie is approaching from behind him. He reaches out to grasp my arm, the one that's not clinging to Jasper, and bobbles my hand enough that a few drops of my red wine slosh out of the glass. Bella, I'm sorry, he says, taking a handkerchief from his pocket to wipe off my hand. But it is imperative that I talk to you, alone, for a moment. He's not smiling anymore. He seems almost desperate. I can't imagine why. We said everything there was to say. Edward, my father wants to speak with us, Rosalie says. Sliding up beside Edward and putting a possessive arm through his. She does not look pleased to find him in my company. I'll be right there, Rose, he answers, not even sparing a glance her way. Continuing to look at me. He wants us now, Edward, she says, more sharply than before. Defeated, Edward closes his eyes for a second before looking at me again. His face now stoic, his eyes guarded pools of green, betraying no emotion. That's a look I recognize. He nods stiffly to Jasper and me and turns to walk away with Rosalie. Well, we can probably kiss the Hale software account goodbye. I remark wryly to Jasper after they walk away. Texas skies search my face before Jasper responds. Bella, I could give a fuck about the goddamn stupid account. The firm will survive without it. I'm concerned about you and about making that motherfucker sorry he ever let you get away. I smile up at him and sniffle a bit as I look around. Edward's secretary Jane waves to me from a few feet away. I pull Jasper over to her and make the introductions. We are a little closer to the stage now and Mr. Hale, Rosalie and Edward all walk up the side stairs and into the middle of it. Rosalie steps in front of Edward and grabs both of his hands, wrapping his arms around her middle. Although Rosalie is smiling, Edward looks more nervous than a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs. I chuckle to myself. That's one of Mama Whitlock's favorite sayings and I know she'd be proud of me using it. Mr. Hale takes the microphone in hand and begins to speak. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Hale Software Holiday Party. We hope everyone is having a great time and I'm going to let the band get going in just a few minutes. But first, I have a very special announcement to make. After years of friendship, at last the Hale and Cullen families are making a joint venture. My daughter, Rosalie, has accepted the marriage proposal of Edward Cullen. Cheers and applause erupt around the room. I feel like I'm going to throw up. I feel dizzy. Everything seems to be tilting sideways. I need to sit down. He proposed to her after how could he? Steady, sugar, Jasper whispers in my ear, supporting my swaying body with the arm he still has around my waist. I'm in a full body panic, heart racing, ears ringing, knees knocking. Edward seems to be frantically searching the room with his green gaze. Until his eyes light and stick on mine. He looks apologetic sad. I whimper quietly. Bella, look at me and smile. Show that yellow-bellied, two-faced, son of a bitch that he can't get to you. Jasper says quietly. I rip my gaze away from Edward's magnetic stare to look up at my friend and smile the most painful smile of my life. There now. That'll do. He can't see your whole face. I'm gonna kiss you and you try not to throw up on me, okay? Nod, he orders. I nod and he bends down to press his lips lightly against mine. He pulls back to smile at me, then looks toward the stage. Mr. Hale is still talking, but I'm no longer listening to what he's saying. Jasper starts talking to me again, but continues to look at Edward while I continue to look at Jasper. I can't stomach looking at Edward or Rosalie right now. He's still looking at you. Put your hand on my neck and pull me down to kiss you, he says. I do, my lips meeting Jasper's again. Jasper, I can't. I'm going to cry, I whisper. Pulling back a few inches from his lips and raising my prickly, teary eyes to meet his steel blue ones. Don't you dare, baby swan, he answers, smiling gently down at me. I'm going to kiss you once more, open mouth, but no tongue. Then I'm taking your hand and we are getting the hell out of here like someone has lit the desire fire right under our reproductive parts. That cocksucker will think that we can't wait to get out of here and go fuck each other's brains out. Got it? Yes, I whisper. Jasper lowers his lips to mine again, really kissing me good this time. Damn, he's a great kisser. I wish I was attracted to him. My life would be much simpler. Well, not really, since I'm his employee. But, still, I can enjoy the kiss for the moment. Except that he's watching. Fuck. That distraction didn't last very long. Goddamn, Swan, it's been a long time since we kissed, huh? Jasper laughs against my lips. I kind of wish you weren't hung up on that lily-livered pond sucker dictard so we could go fuck each other's brains out. I'm gonna grab your hand and haul ass out of here in just a second. I will look at the stage and tell you if he liked the show. You do not look up there under any circumstances. Understand? I understand, I whisper, fresh tears collecting in my eyes. Hold it together for another minute, baby Swan. When we get in the car, you're free to lose your shit. He says, grabbing my hand and intertwining our fingers before lifting our hands to his lips to graze my knuckles. He turns, swinging his gaze back toward the stage, then leads me by the hand quickly out of the room. I make it without looking back at Edward. By the time we get our coats and are waiting for Jasper's car at the valet stand, I'm barely hanging on. Jasper helps me into the car when it arrives and then gets behind the wheel. Motherfucker. Here he comes, Jasper says, looking out the window on my side. Stay or go, Bella. I hear Edward yelling why name as he comes out the automatic doors of the hotel. Go, Jasper, please, I beg hoarsely. Go. We take off quickly and I breathe a sigh of relief as I let the tears finally start to fall. I look in the passenger side mirror and see Edward standing where I just was, one hand in his hair, his face contorted as he calls my name once more. 7 months earlier May. As I walk toward the building, I am bursting with confidence. I am wearing my lucky black skirt and my highest black heels, making me feel tall and empowered. I am ready. Emmett made sure I was ready and he trusts me to handle this initial meeting on my own. I have handled clients on my own before, of course, but never one as potentially lucrative as this one. Emmett thinks it's more of a meet and greet anyway since the client, Mr. Hale, wanted the meeting set for 3:30 on a Friday afternoon. Emmett is rarely in the office this late on Fridays, usually taking off early to make up for all the late nights he puts in earlier in the week. He's a big believer in balance of work and play, especially Friday happy hour play. I'm meeting him there once I'm done here. I make my way through the revolving door and into the enormous reception area of Hale Software. I admire the slate tile floors and the rock waterfall wall behind the receptionist's desk. The decor is minimalist, industrial, contemporary, expensive. May I help you? The smiling receptionist asks pleasantly. Yes, I'm Bella Swan of McCarty and Whitlock. I have an appointment with Mr. Hale, I respond. Of course, Ms. Swan. Please have a seat and I'll let Mr. Hale's secretary know you're here, she replies. I sit down on the black leather sofa, similar to the one I've salivated over a million times at IKEA, and pick up the magazine on the table next to me. Inside Hale Software, they have their own in-house magazine. That's impressive. I'm skimming through the articles when I come across a picture of the best-looking man I've ever seen in my life. And that includes Clooney and Pitt when they were in their prime. This man is dressed in a black suit and tie, smiling with the most perfect teeth, staring into the camera lens with the darkest green eyes and sporting a mop of messy-looking, but I'm sure carefully arranged, brownish hair up top. Holy hell, he's gorgeous. I quickly peruse the article, looking for a name. There it is. Edward Cullen, Executive Vice President. Hale Software. Eddie, come to mama. I smile to myself. I wonder if he goes by Eddie or Ned, or Teddy. He could be my teddy bear, just saying. I look at his left hand. No ring. That's a relief. At least if I meet him and he asks me to drop my panties, I won't have to worry about a wronged wife. He's probably not even in this building. Hale Software has offices in several major cities. He probably lives somewhere exciting like New York or the Bay Area, not regular old, rainy Washington. Ms. Swan, Jane will be here to get you in just a moment, the receptionist says. Pulling me out of my hot man musing. I thank her and quickly close the magazine, replacing it carefully on the table. Then, as I look up and notice the receptionist is concentrating on something on her computer screen. I pick the magazine back up and stealthily slip it into the side pocket of my messenger briefcase. I can always use a new fantasy subject for rabbit time. And there are several copies of it laying here, so I'm sure they won't miss one. When Jane arrives, I introduce myself and am comfortable with her immediately. She talks non-stop as she leads me to the elevator and we ascend to the 5th floor. As we're on our way up, she explains that Mr. Hale is unavoidably detained, but sent word to begin without him. Who am I meeting with then? I inquire. I was under the impression that I would be meeting alone with Mr. Hale this afternoon. You're meeting with my boss, Mr. Cullen, Edward Cullen, she answers, smiling at me. Oh, hell, I just creamed my panties. I must look panicked because Jane immediately tries to soothe me. He's not as big of an asshole as you've heard. In fact, he's rather nice if you can get past the gruff exterior. I do not feel better. Now I've just creamed my panties in honor of a semi-asshole. I try to save my creaming for hot, funny, nice guys. I also try not to think about any creaming during business meetings, so I'm going to need to get control of my girl parts. Ladies, now hear this. We do not act this way for assholes. We also do not act this way during the business day. Settle down and I will try to find you a nice, hot boy later tonight who will be good to you. We are meeting Jasper and Emmett for drinks and they always have hot friends with them. At ease, ladies. You are dismissed. Asterisk. I feel calmer. As long as no one reminds the ladies that I rarely let anyone near them, we're good. Ms. Swan, are you okay? Would you like a bottled water for the meeting? Jane asks, looking concerned as the elevator stops on the floor and we exit. Yes, thank you, Jane. Water would be great. And please call me Bella, I say, composing myself quickly and resolving to be all business from here out. Blank, underscore, blank. Jane leads me to Mr. Cullen's office door and knocks sharply twice. She opens the door after he snaps, enter. Mr. Cullen, Ms. Swan from McCarty and Whitlock is here, she states. All business in her tone now, none of the conversational ease we shared on the way up here. She steps aside for me to enter the office, telling me she'll be right back with my water. As I step inside and get my first look at the man in the flesh, only one thought runs through my twisted brain. Holy Mary and AAAAAAALL the fucking saints, that picture did not do him justice. As I walk toward his desk, I know I'm going to have to speak in about 5 seconds, so I will my eyes and brain to go lightspeed on the communication and evaluation of his physical attributes. And let's be subtle please. Eyes, no blatant staring. Brain, control the mouth. No bo chicka wow wow noises. Ready, take it from the top. Hair, brownish, but hints of red and gold mixed in, carefully arrayed in disarray, slightle. Why longer than it was in the picture? Long enough for a girl to be able to get a hold of and pull. Face, structurally almost flawless. Slight bump on his nose. Oh my god, those cheekbones. Full, well-shaped lips, piercing malachite eyes. Harsher gaze than in the photo. Long, curly eyelashes. Strong, defined jawline, tiny cleft in his chin. Body. Can only evaluate from waist up, as he's very rudely not standing to greet me. Broad shoulders tapering down toward his waist, which I still can't see because he's still not standing. Suit jacket off, tie just slightly loosened, white shirt cuffs rolled U.P. to just below his elbows revealing slightly tanned, muscular but not Popeye crazy big forearms. One big man watch on his left wrist. Really nice hands, big, but not meaty. Long tapered fingers, clean, well-kept fingernails. Overall conclusion. Fuck hot with a heaping side of you'd have to be blind or crazy not to want to hit this. Okay. Not a bad eval for 4 seconds. Nice job. Eyes. Way to go, brain. He seems to be studying me as well and he finally stands up and reaches one of those long-fingered hands across the desk. Ms. Swan, it's a pleasure to meet you. I'm Edward Cullen, he says. Oh, hell, again. Damn girl parts. Stand down. Stand down. Just because a man speaks to us with a voice so sexy that it makes us want to rip our clothes off and roll around on satin sheets, we do not release the cream. At this rate, my well will run dry before I even meet any hot boys tonight. But, yeah, totally worth it. Mr. Cullen, it's nice to meet you, too. Please call me Bella, I say, smiling at him. He doesn't return the smile. He also doesn't say anything resembling, call me Edward or Eddie or Ned or Teddy. Semi-asshole status preliminarily confirmed. I finally reach his desk and extend my right hand to meet his. Grasping it firmly before letting go quickly because I swear to God he's got one of those gag hand buzzers hidden in his palm. I felt a freaking current shoot up my arm, take a sharp turn at my shoulder. Whiz by both boobs, hello, high beams, and electrocute my girl parts. They are stunned into silence. Thankfully, Jane returns then with bottled water for each of us. She tells us that Mr. Hale called to say he wouldn't make it back for the meeting at all, but hopes to meet with me soon. We both say thanks. Mine sounded genuine, his dismissive, and she quickly exits the office, shutting the door behind her and leaving me here with Mr. White Lightning. Sit, he barks at me in that silken, baritone voice. I remain standing, tilting my head slightly to the side and lifting one eyebrow at him. Please sit down, Bella, he corrects. It doesn't escape my attention that he did not apologize for speaking to me like a dog. I take a deep breath and sit down, though, reminding myself that this could be a huge client for our firm. The firm has grown so much in its first 4 years, and I've been there for all of it. I got to know Jasper and Emmett both during call. Ega, even though they are 2 years older than me. They were friends of my old roommate's boyfriend, and the three of us spent many nights drinking cheap beer and watching movies while waiting for Mike and Jessica to either make up or break up from their latest fight. I was really sad when they graduated. Well, not Mike, he was an idiot. Then, the summer before my senior year in college, I interned at the advertising firm where Jasper and Emmett both worked, and I guess they were impressed enough that when they started their own company the next year, they asked me to work for them. They are like the big brothers I never had. Well, Emmett is like the big brother I never had. Jasper is more like the big brother's hot friend who I made out with a few times during college, but who is now truly just a friend. I hastily open my water and take a sip before pulling out the proposal Emmett and I prepared for this meeting. I hand Mr. Cullen his copy and start to go over some of the details. I'm able to read, Bella, he says brusquely, cutting me off mid-sentence, not even bothering to glance my way as he interrupts. Then read this, dickhead, I think, flipping him off as he continues looking down at the papers on his desk. Of course, Mr. Cullen, would you prefer to read through it on your own and then go over any questions you have together? I asked politely, recovering from my momentary lapse into immaturity. Yes, and I'd also prefer it if you didn't flip me the bird while I'm trying to do it, he says, smirking slightly, but still not looking up at me. I chuckle quietly in spite of myself. Of course, sir, I answer, erasing the smile from my face and replacing it with a look of complacence. He lifts his head up, meets my gaze for a moment, lifts both eyebrows at me, then looks back down at the proposal. After a few minutes of silence, broken only by Ned, or whatever name he answers to, turning the pages as he reads, I reach down to grab my phone, quickly switching it to silent mode. I read through my new emails, answering them quickly if I need to, and then am tempted to play a game. Ned is not paying attention to me anyway. I open up Sky Burger, holding my phone due WN as far as I can so he hopefully won't notice me tilting my phone to the left and right to catch the burger toppings. Stupid Emmett, getting me hooked on this stupid game. I have completed 5 burgers when Ned starts talking again. You are extraordinarily distracting, Bella. Do you know that? He asks as he continues reading. How so, Mr. Cullen? I ask. Well, you're clearly playing some game over there while you are sitting in a business meeting at a software company, I might add. I am not only distracted by your constant movement, but also extremely curious to know. What game has so wholly captured your attention, he says, turning another page. I don't answer him. No response. He asks, still not looking up at me. No, Mr. Cullen, I believe you were clear early. When you stated that you preferred to read alone and discuss any questions you had afterward. I didn't hear a question anywhere in the observation/censure that you just laid on me, I reply evenly. Now he does look up at me with the burning green gaze. Okay, Bella, you got me on that one. I'll tell you what, it's now past 4:30 on Friday afternoon and I've had a shitty week. I've finished reading your proposal. Why don't we go grab a quick drink and discuss my questions? Since that was, in fact, a question, I'm hopeful I'll receive a reply. I use all my willpower to not laugh or even smile at him. Absolutely, Mr. Cullen. I would be delighted to meet you for a drink and answer any questions relating to the proposal that you have, I answer, holding his darkened gaze and putting my phone away in my case. So you will only answer proposal-related questions? He asks. Yes, Mr. Cullen. Being called unprofessional once a day is my limit, I reply, smiling mockingly at him. He chuckles under his breath and the corners of his eyes crinkle up in the cutest way when he smiles crookedly at me. Whoa, Bella, down, sister, stop with the attraction to the fuckhot semi-asshole. We both gather our things and head to the elevator. On the way down he gives me directions to the little Irish pub around the corner where he wants to meet. Blank. Inside the pub, he finds us a secluded booth toward the back where we can talk business. Wine? He asks. No, thank you, Mr. Cullen, I reply. I'll have absolute Mandarin and club soda with a twist, please. He orders for both of us when the waitress comes around, calling her by name and acting charming. I don't realize I'm frowning until he points it out and asks why. I'm just surprised, Mr. Cullen. I didn't think you had a charming bone in your body, I answer, then blush at both my momentary lack of mouth filter and my use of the word bone. So much for acting more professional. I'm surprised again when he laughs. Yes, Bella, I can be quite charming when I want to be. I just don't have to be very often. I might have noticed that, I remark wryly. He laughs again, more heartily this time. It's probably the best sound I've ever heard. All right, Bella, let's talk about this proposal of yours. Blank. An hour and a half later, we're still in the booth. But we've finally exhausted his questions that relate to the proposal. I'm working on my third drink and feel like I'm going to get very giggly in the near future, so I decide I'd better go. I start packing things away in my briefcase. Preparing for departure. Mr. Cullen, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for meeting with me. You have my card. Please feel free to call me if you think of any more questions. Otherwise, I'll touch base with you at the beginning of the week to see about moving forward, I say, pretty proud of myself that I got that all out in one try after 2.5 drinks. You're leaving? He asks, eyebrows raised. Yes, Mr. Cullen. I have plans this evening to meet some friends downtown. Although now I think I'd probably better go home instead or I won't be able to get up tomorrow, I answer. Smiling at him. I don't think you should drive, Bella, he states, frowning slightly. I won't. I'll call a friend, or a cab, I agree. Stay, please. We'll order some food and I'll send you home in a cab in a little bit, he says persuasively. There are warning bells going off somewhere in my brain, but I can't figure out why. It's just a little food and probably a little more drink. And a really good-looking man. All right, but just for a little bit. I need to text my friends if I'm blowing them off, I say, grabbing my phone. As he orders a variety of appetizers first from the waitress. I shoot a quick text to Jasper. Dumping you losers. Got a better offer. XOXO, B. Baby Swan, get your ass down here. M's already drunk. I mean it, J. No way, Jose. I'm getting free drinks and food. Love ya, B. Whoever he is, Make sure he keeps it wrapped. Love you too, J. EU. A sick perv. Moi, B. I laugh as I put my phone away and look up to find Ned watching me. Was that your boyfriend? He asks. I shake my head at him. Mr. Cullen. That sounded suspiciously like a question not related to the proposal, I tease. You're right, it's not. I still want to know, he says, leaning across the table toward me. Geez, he's so intense all the damn time. No, just a friend. He is a boy, but not my boyfriend, I answer. I'm sure it's my imagination when. He seems to visibly relax after my statement. That's the only personal question I allow him to ask. I change the subject every other time he asks one and I never question him at all. He finally seems to understand that I'm not going to talk and allows me to steer the conversation to more general, mundane topics. Since I've decided to take a cab home and have Angela bring me back to get my car tomorrow, I see no reason to lose the fabfuckulous buzz I have going. I slow down, though, and drink some water, too. And the food helps keep me from careening into the blackout ravine where I spent a lot of time last year. We move out of the booth into a high-top table in the game room after we eat. We play darts a few times and he plays pool twice, trying to entice me to join him both times. I can't shoot pool sober. I know there's no way I can shoot it tipsy. And I'm definitely not leaning over the pool table while I'm wearing a pencil skirt and heels. He eventually cajoles me into sharing my key burger obsession with him and I laugh when he quickly becomes enamored with the game, too. He asks me to download it onto his phone, rattling off all his passwords when I need them. What? He asks as I look at him incredulously. Do you always tell almost complete strangers all your passwords? I ask. Bella, what are you going to do with the passwords to my phone and to the App Store? Charge my credit card up $100. In increments of $4.99. His eyes are laughing. Are you making fun of me? I ask, raising one eyebrow at him, trying to look scary and pissed off. Yes, a little, but only because you're so much fun to tease. He replies. Oh damn, there it is, the perfect smile combined with the molten green gaze. His eyes sear into mine, my breath hitches, and I have to swallow before I can speak. Arrogant semi-asshole, I mumble under my breath, looking back down as I become overly concerned with watching the progress of the app download. He laughs hard, clearly having overheard my mumbling. You or I'm. Bella, I've never met anyone like you, he says. I've never met anyone like you either, Mr. Cullen, I respond drolly, not looking up at him and not smiling. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? He inquires quietly. I look up and meet his heated gaze with what I hope is a steady, confident one of my own. I'm not sure yet, I'll let you know. Smiling softly as if satisfied with my answer, he goes back to playing the game on my phone until I get his done. The moment of seriousness between us evaporates and we go back to our superficial conversations of earlier in the evening. By 10 o'clock, I think I'd better get home while I can still recite my address. While Ned's in the bathroom, I ask the waitress to call me a cab. When he comes back, he slides his stool over right next to mine before he sits down. More warning bells in my brain. They are, however, immediately overridden by the girl parts, who are shrieking at a decibel level previously only heard at Justin Bieber sightings. Geez, I'm glad I'm not 13. Who did I scream for at that age? No clue. Oh, wait, Ned's talking. Bella, I've had a great time talking to you tonight, he says, leaning in toward me a little. He smells really good. Are you drunk, Mr. Cullen? I ask with a giggle. That's a personal question, Bella, he scolds, smiling crookedly at me. But I'll answer it anyway. No, I'm not drunk. I am not sober, either. I'm somewhere in between. Yeah, me, too. Mr. Cullen, really, thank you for a great night. I had the waitress call me a cab, though, so I think I'll go wait outside, I say. suddenly feeling like I'd better get the hell away from his hypno eyes right the fuck now. They have turned bright green, and as I stare into them, I think I could sink right down and never know what hit me. Okay, I'll walk you out and wait with you, he offers. He stands up and pulls me to my feet. I make sure I have all my things while he tosses enough money on the table to cover our bill. He takes my messenger bag from my shoulder to carry it for me and then steps aside. Ladies first. I feel my mouth drop open. I snap it shut as soon as I realize I'm staring at him. You have manners, I remark. I have impeccable manners. You're surprised by this fact? He asks, amused with me. You were just so rude earlier in your office. I had no idea there was a charming, well-mannered man lurking under there, I say. Blushing again when I realize my filter has failed once more. He laughs and gently prods me to begin wading through the sea of people to the door. As we get outside, I see the cab already waiting for me. Can we share the cab, Bella? He asks, standing right next to me, leaning down to speak quietly in my ear. I feel another shock run through my body. How does he do that? Sure. Where are you headed? I ask, so I know if I should give my address first to the cab driver or not. I try to sound calm and composed, even though I'm not breathing all that well right now. I was hoping your place. He says huskily in my ear. Oh, hell yeah, this might be worthy of those brain alarm bells again, but strangely it's crickets up there now. I look into his bright green eyes and swallow, then take a deep breath. Okay, I answer. Blank, underscore, blank. In the cab, he scoots close to me and puts an arm around my shoulders. Mr. Cullen, this makes me a little uncomfortable. I mean, with the advertising proposal and everything, I say. Bella, I considered the business portion of the evening to be over several hours ago, as soon as we put the proposal away. Whatever happens between you and me has nothing to do with the proposal. I certainly don't want you to feel pressured to do something you don't want to because of a potential business deal, though, he says. Looking at me intently. Okay, I mean, I don't. I just wanted to be sure it's all, separate, I say. And, just so you know, I don't do this kind of thing. I wave my hand back and forth between us, hoping he understands so I don't have to explain. I don't either, Bella, just so you know, he declares. He leans in to kiss me gently, chastely twice. Chastely. Did I really think chastely? There's no such thing with this man. Both kisses cause that white lightning to run through my body again and set certain body parts on fire. I raise my hand to his face and pull him in to kiss me once more. I'm squirming in my seat by the time we get to my apartment building. He pays the cabbie before helping me out and pulling me into the lobby, to the elevators. I push the button for my floor, and before I know it, I have the fuckhottest guy I've ever seen locked inside my apartment. Would you like a drink? I ask, walking to the kitchen. I turned a lamp on in the living room, so I don't turn on the glaring, overhead kitchen lights. I know what I look like by this point in the evening. Soft white bulbs are definitely my friends. Water would be great, he answers. I get 2 bottles out of the fridge and hand one to him. We both take big drinks and then look at each other nervously. He took his suit coat off as soon as we got inside, and his tie was already gone when he got to the pub. I step toward him and put a tentative hand on his chest, moving it up and down slightly, liking the feel of his firm chest beneath the shirt. He exhales loudly and closes his eyes for a minute. Then he turns so that my ass is up against the kitchen counter and he's got me trapped against it. I put my palms down on the counter behind me to steady myself as we stare into each other's eyes. Bella, he whispers as his mouth descends to mine. He raises his hands to my face, cradling it gently as his lips begin to work against mine. He uses gentle pressure on my chin to get me to open my lips for him, and we both moan as he sucks gently at my bottom lip and slides one hand around to the back of my neck, gripping my hair in his fingers. We kiss for several minutes, tongues and lips getting acquainted with each other. Then I move my arms from the countertop behind me to wrap around his waist, pulling his pelvis into mine. Hell, he mutters when I move my hips against his, moving his hands to circle my waist and then skimming lower until both hands are on my ass, pressing us together. Hell yourself, I mumble back, feeling the size of his erection against me. Where'd you get that thing? Quote. He chuckles against my lips and lifts me up to sit on the counter, effectively depriving me of the pelvic friction I wanted. I rock from hip to hip, hiking my skirt up enough that he can maneuver between my spread thighs, and then I finally get my hands in that soft, pullable hair and tug until he puts his lips back to mine. He starts to unbutton my blouse, then stops suddenly. Can I? He asks, pulling back only slightly from my mouth. I nod wordlessly and he goes back to kissing and unbuttoning. He gently pushes my top off me when it's unbuttoned and leans back a little to look at what he's uncovered. I have a moment of panic and look down at my bra, desperately trying to remember what panties I have on. Come on, brain, you just saw them an hour ago in the pub bathroom. Am I matching today, or am I going to have a Bridget Jones and her gigantic cotton panties moment if this goes any farther? Think. Black lace boy shorts. Yes. No Bridget moment for me tonight. Jesus, he says as he reaches out to touch my breasts, displayed for him in a black and white floral sheer bra. You're incredibly beautiful. I push his hands down for a minute so I can get his shirt off him. Unbuttoning it impatiently, he drops his shirt to the floor and reaches for me with both hands, hand cupping a breast, each thumb brushing slowly, repeatedly over a nipple. He's not kissing me anymore. He's leaning back, watching what his hands are doing to my body. Finally, he leans his head forward and starts placing kisses all along the upper edge of my bra, over the swell of my breasts as his magic fingers continue their delicious torture of my nipples. Oh my God, I whimper. Not able to stand it anymore, I pull him forcefully toward me and wrap my legs around his waist. His lips return to mine as one of his hands moves from my boob to trace a leg from thigh to foot, groaning when he realizes I still have my heels on. Where's the bed? He asks, starting to lift me off the counter. Why? What's wrong with here? I ask breathlessly. He presses his forehead to mine. Goddamn, you're going to kill me. Bella, I'm not fucking you for the first time on the fucking kitchen counter. He growls. But maybe the second time. I ask hopefully. Maybe. Bed. He asks again, lifting me completely up in his arms, one arm across my back and the other under my ass. I'm wrapped around him tightly, arms hooked around his neck and legs still twined around his waist. I might as well not be wearing a skirt, it's pushed up so high around my thighs. Left, end of the hall, I pant. Roommate. He asks. I briefly wonder why I'm so out of breath that I sound like I've run 10 miles, but he's carrying me and is not winded at all. No, but nosy neighbors, I laugh. They'll start knocking if we're loud. I don't care, he answers. Me neither. I lean over to flip on the light switch as we enter my room and it turns on one of the bedside lamps. He lays me down gently on the bed, smooths my skirt back down partway and then pulls the comforter out from under me, so I'm lying on the sheets. He chucks his shoes, socks and pants and is soon standing by my bed in just his dark boxer briefs. These are hot but dangerous, he says with a devastating smile, pulling off my shoes. I lift my hips when he's done and slide the back zipper of my skirt down, allowing him to pull it off when it's unzipped. God, you're gorgeous. So are you, I respond. He gets onto the bed, straddling my thighs and reaching under my back to undo the clasp of my bra. He slides it off me slowly, exhaling loudly when I pull my arms free and fling it off the bed. I reach one hand up to trace down his chest to his navel, gasping as he grabs my hand before I can go over and pins it to the mattress with his own hand. I can't take that right now, he says lowly, smiling down at me. As if he knows what I'm thinking, he wraps my other wrist in his other hand and presses it to the mattress, too. He leans forward to swirl his tongue around one nipple and then the other before finally sucking them. After a couple of minutes, my hips start to jerk involuntarily underneath his and he releases my nipple and wrists to slide down and pull the lacy panties off me. Yours, too, I whisper, trying to push at his briefs. He helps and then tosses both of our underwear onto the floor. Open up for me, Bella. He says huskily. I move my legs apart and he settles in between them, moving one hand to stroke me gently, sliding his fingers against me, then inside me. Damn, you're so hot, so wet. Don't make me wait, I plead, rejoicing internally when I hear him rip the condom packet open. And then he's right there, sliding into me so slowly. When he's all the way in, he lowers his lips to mine. Fuck, you feel so good all around me, he groans into my mouth. I can't really answer, so I just wrap one arm around his neck and slide the other down to his ass, and urge him to start moving. He pulls out excruciatingly slowly then slides back in, groaning against my neck. He repeats this several more times, until I'm gasping and bucking beneath him. Jesus, are you trying to drive me insane? I ask. No, Bella, I'm trying to make you feel good, he answers, out of breath, too. You are. Now go faster and make me come, I order. He huffs out a laugh and answers, yes, ma'am. He picks up the pace immediately and after several more thrusts, he moves one hand down, his fingers circling my clit, the heel of his hand pressing gently on my pubic bone, sending me crashing straight toward an orgasm. I realize that my headboard is banging against the wall rhythmically. Angela, my friend and next-door neighbor, will be all up in my business tomorrow if she hears this. My side of the wall has been quiet since I moved in. But this is no time to be thinking about Angela. Oh God, right there, oh yes, oh my God, Ned, I yell as I climax, pleasure shooting fast and hard through my body. He stops moving immediately and raises up to look me in the eyes. Who the fuck is Ned? Ned versus the rabbit, May, huh, I pant, blinking slowly, still in an orgasmic haze. I am not quite sure what he asked me, but he stopped moving and he looks pretty pissed. What the hell did I say? I haven't had a boyfriend for over a year, so I doubt if I screamed someone else's name in ecstasy. I asked you who the fuck Ned is. He growls. I think he's trying to tase me with his eyeballs. He shouldn't bother. He already tased me with his rather large stun gun. I start to giggle thinking, gee, about the stun gun, which seems to make him even madder, but he stays buried inside me and I can feel him throbbing. My giggle turns into a groan before I answer him. You're Ned, I say breathily. He frowns at me. No one calls me Ned, he says disbelievingly. Except the woman you're screwing who doesn't know what anyone calls you, I say loudly, starting to get angry. I've been calling you Ned in my head all night. You never told me to call you by whatever first name you answer to, and since I'm not a character in a goddamn Jane Austen book, I refuse to call you Mr. Cullen while you're fucking me. His face relaxes into a killer smile immediately. I'm sorry, Bella, he says in his deep voice. I didn't realize that I never told you to call me Edward. He leans down to kiss me, king at my bottom lip for a minute before moving down to my neck. So everyone calls you Edward? No Teddy, no Eddie? I ask. My hips buck involuntarily as he sucks gently on the spot where my neck and shoulder meet. No, he says forcefully. I think I'll keep calling you Ned, then. I like it, I say, smiling up at him when he raises his head to look at me. I want to hear you scream my real name, not Ned, the next time you come. He says, starting to move again and kissing the spot right under my ear. Oh my God, if you keep doing that, I'll call you whatever you want, I moan. Especially if you do it faster. Really, whatever I want, he asks, grunting as he increases his speed. He must know I'm close again because he grabs my hand and moves it down before raising up on his knees, his eyes locked on mine. Touch yourself, Bella. I want to watch you come undone around me, he growls, grabbing my hips to hold me still as he moves in and out of me. I barely get a finger on myself before my orgasm goes ripping through me. Jesus. Fuck. Edward, I scream hoarsely, as I clench all around him. Oh, God, Bella, that feels fucking amazing, he says. He thrusts 3 more times and then I feel him release inside of me. He collapses back down on top of me, calling my name again, then kissing me gently as we both catch our breaths. He pulls out of me and gets up from the bed. Oh, this is when men leave after a wham, bam. Fuck you, ma'am, right. I'll call you. See you around. It's not you, it's me, whatever. Still the best sex I've ever had. He removes the condom and holds it away from me as he leans back down to kiss me. Don't move, I'll be right back, he says. I hear him go into the bathroom and then into the kitchen a minute later. He walks back through my doorway with our waters and our shirts and frowns when he sees that I've pulled the covers up around myself. I was cold, I offer weakly. I know, I should have covered you up before I left the room, he says. He hands me my water, waiting while I sit up and take a drink before setting it down for me and going around to the their side of the bed to climb in next to me. I'm pleasantly surprised he's hanging around for a bit, and a little surprised that I want him to. I turn onto my side to face him and he does the same, smiling at me and leaning in to kiss me gently. So, Ned, I should have asked this before. I'm really hoping you don't have a girlfriend or a wife waiting around somewhere. I don't screw dudes in relationships, I say. Well, lately, I don't screw any dudes at all, or women either, just to be clear, but cheaters are a definite no-no for me. Nice to see I haven't lost my touch for less than intelligent rambling yet. I was hoping he'd fuck that right out of me. He chuckles lightly before he answers me. No, Bella, I'm not married, not in a relationship. I don't really do relationships, at least not in the traditional sense. But I don't screw around on the side if I'm in a physical relationship with someone. What the hell does that mean? I ask, thoroughly confused. It means I don't really date, don't have romantic relationships. I don't want the hassle of having to constantly explain myself to someone or apologize for the amount of time I devote to my work or other aspects of my life. However, I have occasionally had female friends I do things with, like dinner. And each other, I add helpfully. He smiles crookedly and chuckles. Yes, and each other, until one of us tires of the arrangement, he says, acting like this is all perfectly logical. As an aside, no woman could logically tire of an arrangement where Ned does to her what he just did to me. So you just leave feelings completely out of the equation? I ask, intrigued. Yes, I don't like to deal with the drama, he says. Ned, you realize that's a crock of shit, right? I ask, frowning at him. He laughs and kisses me, then pulls me closer to rest against his chest. You know, Bella, I haven't even known you for 8 hours yet and so far you've flipped me off, called me an arrogant asshole, told me I'm full of shit, been surprised that I have manners and charm, and insisted on calling me by the wrong name. You're a busy lady, he says, his baritone voice rumbling through his chest under my ear. I only called you a semi-asshole, I mumble. I stand corrected. I also screwed you, I say, tilting my head back to smile up at him. Jesus, did you ever, he says, looking in my eyes and kissing me thoroughly. You're welcome, I say against his lips. I don't remember thanking you, he smiles against mine. I pull away and lift one hand to trace along his cheekbone. But you have impeccable manners, right? I tease, sliding my hand into his hair and pulling his lips back to mine. If this is what the first 8 hours is like, what do you have in store for the next 8? He muses, running one of his hands through the ends of my hair. I don't know. Parts of the first 8 will be difficult to top. But I'm willing to try if you are, I say. Bella, I'd like to stay with you tonight but I'm serious. I don't do romantic relationships, he says looking into my eyes. Perfect. Neither do I answer, moving my mouth to his neck. He pulls back. What? You just told me I was full of shit for saying that 5 minutes ago, he says, sounding kind of pissy. I scoff. I never really said you were full of shit. I said your reasons were a crock of shit. No time, no drama, no apologies. That's the bullshit part, The only logical reason to leave emotion out of relationships is to avoid being hurt. So that's your big reason for not doing relationships. Yup. Too risky. The last guy the first let in broke my heart. Actually, he didn't just break it, he ripped it out my chest and stomped on it with his size 12 boots until it was flattened and then let his little tramp on the side pierce it with her stripper stilettos on the way out the door, I say. He cheated on you, he says, his eyes darkening. Yeah, a year and a half ago, 3 weeks before we were supposed to get married. I caught an early flight home from a conference in Vegas to surprise him. I laugh hollowly at the painful memory. I'd say we were both surprised. So, that's why no cheaters, he prods. No, I say harshly, frowning up at him. I didn't like cheaters before that. No one deserves to be treated so disrespectfully. Bella, you know he's the fool, not you, he says softly, grazing my cheek with the back of his hand. I shrug one shoulder. Maybe. I'm sure someday I won't be bitter or so quick to judge every guy the first meet. But, for now, I have my boys Em and Jas to take care of me emotionally, and I have the rabbit to take care of me physically, I say, smiling again. Who are Em and Jas? He asks. My best friends, I answer. Best friends with benefits, he asks hesitantly. I make what my dad calls my split pea soup face, conveying my absolute disgust at the remark he just made. Oh, ew, no, I could never kiss Em. He's like a brother to me, and he's like a walking petri dish. He's been around and around and around. And Jas is my best friend in the world. I would never risk screwing that up, I say softly, lowering my eyes to rest on his chest. I feel my pulse quicken. And the ladies are coming around from their post-coital fainting spells, reminding me that I have not spent enough time exploring Ned's body yet. And the rabbit, he asks, his voice mischievous. Oh, let's not pretend that every guy doesn't know about the rabbit by now, I laugh, feeling my face redden. Looking at my fingers as they run through the smattering of hair on his chest. You're just trying to embarrass me. Well, you do turn the most perfect shade of pink when you blush, he says. Lifting my chin so that my eyes meet his again. You're beautiful, I swallow before speaking. Thank you, Edward. You're welcome, he answers, lowering his lips to mine sweetly. Now, he says, shifting to lie on his back and pulling me to lie half on top of him, I'd really like to spend some time proving to you that the rabbit is an inferior machine. I don't know, it might take a lot of convincing, I say playfully. I have a great deal of affection for the rabbit. Are you sure you can do the job? You could at least give me a trial period, he says, smiling as I lower my lips to his. What, you come with a satisfaction guaranteed stamp? Like 12 orgasms in 12 hours or your money back? I laugh, kissing my way along his strong jawline and down his neck. He groans before he answers me. Are you saying that if I give you 12 orgasms in the next 12 hours, you'll concede that I'm better than the rabbit? That's not exactly what I said, but that sounds reasonable. I'll even spot you the 2 I already had, I say, moving up to his ear to trace it with the tip of my tongue. We do have one problem, he says, his hands roving over my back and ass. I only carry one condom in my wallet and we already used it. Quote, how is that a problem for me? I ask cheekily. He rolls me over so quickly that I squeal. His verdant gaze holds mine as he lowers his lips to mine and moves his hips against mine. Stroking himself against me, I try to hold still, try to pretend that he doesn't arouse me in a way that I've never been aroused before, although a year and a half of nothing. But the rabbit probably contributed to my joy at having a man back in my bed. Both of our bodies react and soon I'm moving against him, moaning, loving the wet humping, but wanting him inside me. He pulls his mouth away from mine. Oh, I'm sorry. This isn't your problem, right? He says lowly in my ear. Okay, I have some, I pant. Top drawer, over there. I point to the nightstand on the side of the bed. These aren't the cheaters, are they? He asks, stopping the tortuous movements of his hips and looking down at me. No, Jas bought them for me after Jake, I say. He told me it was time to get back on the horse that threw me. And did you? He asks, searching my eyes for answers. Yeah, about half an hour ago, I reply. New apartment, new bed, new guy. Bella, he says, still looking at me intensely. Don't feel sorry for me, and don't get all worried. A big girl. One night stands are okay with me, I say. Then I add the double dog dare words. Unless you're not up to the challenge. He grins down at me and I grin back. I'm good to go if you are, he says. Oh, I'm good, I say suggestively, raising one eyebrow at him. I'm discovering that, he laughs. He reaches over and opens the nightstand drawer to grab the condoms. Jesus, how many did he buy you? He tosses several on top of my nightstand. I don't know. He was giving me some lecture about being careful and prepared, and I was all embarrassed cause it's freaking Jas and I don't want to talk about sex with him, even though we've made out and he felt me up once during college. So I just shoved them in my drawer and told him I'd take him for beers if he would shut the fuck up, I say, once again falling victim to my excessive information explosion of the mouth. He's hovering over me again, looking at me with a mixture of wonder and disbelief. Was that a rhetorical question? I ask, blushing again. He chuckles quietly. Yeah, kind of, but I'm strangely turned on by how you can't seem to censor anything you say. It's hot and adorable and annoying all at the same time, he says, smiling the crinkly-eyed smile at me. I'll assume you meant that in the most complimentary way possible, I say, wrapping my arms around his neck and pulling him down to press my lips to his. And not to rush you, Ned, but tick-tock. The clock is not on your side here. I'm not worried. 2 down, 10 to go, he says, kissing down my neck to my chest. It doesn't take him very long to get numbers 3 and 4. He takes his time with 5, building me up and then slowing down several times until I finally plead with him to finish. The resulting orgasm is worth every frustrating minute. Once he gets rid of the condom, I turn off the bedside lamp and we lie in bed on our backs, holding hands loosely in between our sated bodies. So, his name was Jake, he asks quietly. Oh, no, the getting to know Bella portion of this night is over, Ned. I've already said too much, I answer with a yawn. And I'm fucking sleepy. Zip it. Jesus Christ, you're bossy. My bed, my rules, I reply with a chuckle. I'll remember that when we're in my bed, he retorts. I inhale sharply at the thought of getting more than one night with him. Ha, you should be so lucky, I say instead of grabbing my calendar to set a date and time for a round of horizontal hoopla in his bed. Night, Ned. I turn away from him onto my side. He moves up behind me, spooning me, before he answers. Good night, Stella. We both laugh softly. When he puts an arm around my waist, I scoot back, closer to his chest. Just before I drift off to sleep, I feel him place a gentle kiss on the side of my head and whisper my name. Blank, underscore, blank. Much to my chagrin, he gets 4 more during the night. The first time, I wake up with his hands and mouth already on me. I don't last long at all that way. In fact, he got 2 in a row with barely any effort. I'm not sure if it's the long fingers or the magic tongue. I actually don't even care which it is as long as he keeps entertaining me with them. Afterward, he held me and let me go back to sleep without taking anything for himself. At daybreak, when the room is just beginning to turn purple-gray instead of black, he stirs again from his place behind me. He moves my hair and licks and sucks gently on the nape of my neck while his free hand caresses my breasts. Once I start thrusting my hips back toward him, he lifts my top leg over his hip and slides inside me. I panic momentarily because I don't think he put a condom on, but I can tell he's wearing one. When did you put the condom on? I ask, confused. While I was trying to get you awake enough for this to be consensual. Bella, I wouldn't go without a condom unless we talked about it, he says, holding still. Okay, I'm on the pill, but, you know, we don't know each other's histories. It's safer this way. Well, you know some of my history, like I haven't had sex in over a year. And I got tested after I found out about the tramp. God knows where else he'd been. I checked out fine. I don't really know anything about you, though, I say. He's chuckling behind me and sucking hard on the spot where my spine and neck meet. He goes from sucking my neck to placing open mouth kisses on my upper back. I wouldn't put you at risk, Bella. I'm clean, but you're right, this is safer. Keep talking, it's turning me on, he says, sliding his hand down from my breasts to rub between my thighs. Jesus, I say, when he lightly grazes my clit. I'm not sure I can form coherent sentences while you're doing that, but I'll try. Did you know the average person has sex over 4,000 times during their lifetime? That's like doing it every night for almost 11 years, not counting leap years, which LLY shouldn't be counted because that would only add 2 or 3 days, depending on when you start. He groans and I feel myself getting close again as his fingers and hips move faster. Why do I find your ramblings so fucking sexy? He murmurs against the back of my neck. I don't. No. Fuck. Edward. I say loudly as the orgasm hits me. Goddamn Bella. He groans, moving his arm to hook around my waist and pulling me tightly back against his chest as he thrusts a few more times, stroking that magical spot inside each time. I come again, moaning, and he comes right after me, groaning and biting gently on my shoulder. Jesus, was that 2 more? He asks a minute later, kissing the side and back of my neck again. He probably doesn't even have morning breath. I nod. I should be embarrassed. I'm coming like a whore. I say, I know you won't believe me, but I've never been like this before. Never brought a random guy home with me, never been multi-orgasmic. I believe you, he says, still holding me tightly. We lie there several minutes letting our breathing return to normal. I need to pee and take a shower. Then I'll fix breakfast if that's okay, I tell him. You can shower, too, if you want. That's not a hint. You don't smell bad or anything. Actually, you smell so freaking good I don't even want to get up. His chest is shaking behind me and I laugh a little, too. Damn, woman, I don't know which is more likely, that you'll ever stop rambling or that I'll find anything about you that I don't like, he says, squeezing gently with the hand across my middle. Oh, there's plenty about me not to like. I say, you want me to give you a complete list or just the top 3 complaints I hear? What are the top 3? He asks, sounding amused. I'm stubborn, sarcastic and hard to please, I answer. Well, I happen to like stubborn, sarcastic women. And, Bella, I've spent the last few hours proving that you are not at all hard to please, he says in my ear, his already low voice dropping another octave. I sigh contentedly and pull his arm off me, raising his hand to my lips to kiss the fleshy spot between his thumb and index finger. You're pretty sweet for a semi-asshole, I tease, scooting off the bed and getting my robe from the closet and clean panties from a dresser drawer. I shower and dry my hair, then head to the kitchen. I hear the shower start up again as I'm frying bacon and whisking the scrambled egg mixture. He comes into the kitchen several minutes later, hair still wet, wearing his suit pants but no shirt. I barely restrain myself from making slurping noises, which is kind of ridiculous since I've had this man naked in my bed for the last 8 hours and 9 orgasms. We eat breakfast at the kitchen bar, talking quietly and listening to the gentle rain against the windows. When we're done, we go back to bed, both of us stripping back down to underwear. I lie on my back and he lies on his stomach, moving one of his legs under my knee to hook our legs together and reaching one hand over to gently stroke a breast. His fingers move more and more slowly, then finally stop as he drifts off to sleep. Smiling over at his dazzling face, I let myself fall into a peaceful slumber, blank. That's 11, he says, the arrogance apparent in his voice. It was a mini. Minis don't count, I argue, trying not to smile. Minis sure the fuck do count. There was no minis don't count stipulation when the challenge was issued, he contends, sounding annoyed now. Fine. Minis count. But the rabbit never gives minis, I taunt. Oh, now you're just trying to start shit, he says, sounding like he's trying not to laugh, as he crawls up my body and rests between my legs. Maybe. I smile, reaching my hands up to trace both thumbs across his lower lip. Well, you were so loud with 10 that it should count for 1.5, he smirks. Yeah, I was pretty loud. It was definitely the magic tongue that time. Angela even called to make sure I wasn't being attacked. I told her I was, but with my permission. She made me promise to call her back once my sexy time with Ned is over. When I hung up, I informed Ned that it was very difficult to carry on a conversation with my neighbor while he was finger-fucking me. I was a little mad, which is probably why number 11 was only a mini. Touché, I answer, laughing full out now. I'll give you credit for the full 11. Wow, you're even ahead of schedule. You have almost an hour to wring one more orgasm from my sexually depleted body. It won't take me that long, he says confidently, rolling a condom on quickly and thrusting into me. He's right. Within 3 minutes, I'm on the edge again. Say it, he orders. I shake my head no. I mean it. Say it. It's not true yet, I answer, gasping for breath. I won't finish you unless you say it, he says, crashing his mouth to mine for a moment. I pull away when I can't breathe, and then he airs his teeth and glides them smoothly across my clavicle from one shoulder to the other. I whimper, digging my fingernails into his biceps. He increases the speed and force of his thrusts, driving me faster and faster toward number 12. Oh God. Oh God, I breathe. Say it, baby, please, say it. Edward's better than the rabbit. He's back to sucking on my neck, which by now he's figured out has a direct correlation to how fast and hard I come. Ned is a quick learner. He moves one hand down and hovers over my clit, touching lightly twice then pulling back. Edward's better than the rabbit, I moan. He lifts away from my neck to look in my eyes. Louder, baby. Edward's better than the rabbit, I say a little louder. Once more, he growls, putting his hand back to my clit and circling it quickly. Oh my God, Edward's better than the rabbit. I yell, my body awash with pleasure, my legs shaking, my pulse pounding. I feel him finish and then collapse on top of me, but I can't move even a finger. Fucking Christ, that was, he says, panting. Yeah, incredible. I think I might be dying. Or already dead, I mumble, managing to get my arms around his back, holding his chest to mine. He kisses me, laughing when I barely have the energy to respond. I'll be right back, he says near my ear, causing goosebumps to erupt all down that arm. He chuckles again softly, pressing a kiss to my cheek and climbing out of bed. I'm basically comatose by the time he gets back. He gets in beside me and pulls me to him, moving me around until I'm kind of draped across him. You want to sleep for a while before we go get our cars? He asks. I nod. Okay. I'd really like to eat dinner with you tonight. Do you think you'll be recovered enough by then? He asks. Probably, I mutter. Bella, he says softly. I manage to grunt. I've never been so glad that I had to stay late on a Friday for a meeting. I sigh contentedly and press a small kiss to his chest where I'm lying. He kisses the top of my head and rubs his hands gently over my back and arms. Me, too, I whisper sleepily. An hour later, Edward wakes me by gently kissing my fingers until I open my eyes. I hate to wake you, but I need to do a little work this afternoon, he says, dragging my body up in the bed until our mouths are even. He kisses me gently, lingeringly stroking his tongue over mine again and again as he cups my face with his hand. Okay, let's go. I'm too sore for another round right now, I laugh, pulling away when his hands start to wander. He chuckles back and whispers that he's sorry, to which I reply that I'm not. I pull on a flowy summer skirt and t-shirt, then call a cab to take us back to the bar where we both left our cars. When we get there, he walks me to mine and opens the door. Or me after I use the remote to unlock it. Bella, I don't remember the last time when I had so much fun, he says,